Greetings, Internet, and welcome to Aaron Plays, and I hope you're doing fantastically well. In this episode, I'm going to be looking at one of the continuations for Cry Havoc, which came out 80s, early 80s, maybe even 1980. The continuation I'm talking about, he says, having a game next to him, is... Now, I have no idea how to pronounce that. My Latin isn't great, but I'm going to say DIEX AIE, or DIEX AIE. Anyway, it's about the Norman conquest of Britain, or should we say England? Not sure. Do they conquer Scotland? That's where my history is not so great. But this is one of what they call the Norman saga by History On editions. Skirmishes during the Norman conquest of England in the 11th century. A simulation game for 2 players and more, age 14 and above. So I've picked up quite a few. I think I've picked all of them apart from the latest one, which is called Sherwood's. And I thought, well, let's go and have a look, see what these look like. I mean, I've played 1 or 2 scenarios in one of the earlier ones. I had one on my channel, but not played anything from this. But I'll be doing this by a vassal in the near future. But let's have a look what's in the box. This is not an unboxing. I have opened this. I've punched out the counters. I think I even clipped a few. But as yet, it's unplayed. So let's see what is actually in the box. Okay, so the box to start with, the box art. It's not the greatest artist on the planet, but I like it. It's better than I can draw, but not much better than I can draw. It has the feel of what's going on there, of what I'm expecting to do in the box, and that evokes what I want to see and what I want to play. So yeah, not the greatest artwork on the box, but it does fit what I want to see. Yeah. By my box leads. And as I said, this is not an unboxing because the box has been opened, but I'm showing you guys what you actually get in your box for your money. Okay, so set of charts and tables. Okay, with nice name on them and such on. Now these charts and tables, each game in the series has its own, so they are built around the same engine, but they also reflect the period in the actual box itself. So as you can see here, there's only so many sort of types of troop types listed. Okay, we don't actually have the longbow on this chart, whereas on a latter one we would. Well, that's not quite true. On the English version, you don't even get the longbow. On the French version, because this is a French company that's doing this, you do. But yeah, on the reverse side of this is the terrain effects table. So most of this is what you'll encounter in outside battles, skirmishes, whereas this is when you start going inside the towns and actually inside doing the sieges. So colour, nice. I've laminated these because I'm expecting to have quite a bit of play. Now this sheet is when you actually go into the campaign game, which I'll explain as well. There are campaign rules which you then maneuver across a map, and then eventually you'll transfer the information onto an actual battlefield. And that's the siege table. There's a siege castle and the stuff that you need to go through a siege, because a siege will take over a few actual encounters and skirmishes and such forth. So again, I've laminated that. And these 2 sheets, I think, from memory, are the same, one for each player. It's a worksheet. where you work out your forces and such forth. There's a picture of it. There's 4 campaigns using 2 different maps in the setup here. So those are campaign sheets. That's like a roster table where you build your forces and so forth. So again, I've eliminated those because I hope to get some campaign play in at some point. Then you get 2 books. You get the rule book with the same cover, with the same art, and its colour, very nicely laid out. It has a sort of program instruction. You have a breakdown of the actual counters, which we'll come to. And you get breakdown the terrain, sequence of play, and then you have movement rules, how to break through enemy lines, infiltration, forces. Then you have missile fire tables, or the missile fire, impact hex. If you're not too close, you could hit someone actually different. Then you've got line of sight rules, which you'd expect in a sort of skirmish game. You then got effects of terrain on combat. Then you have big black lines here, which are errata that have been removed, don't apply for this particular game. And then it tells you at this point here, stop. You can now play scenarios 1 and 2, and that's with 13 pages of rules. Then you have mounted lances, what they can do. You then have cavalry charge rules, shield wall, counter charge, 200 axe. There's if you can play through the scenarios 3 and 7. Then it brings other rules into it, houses and other buildings. Up to about this point here, you now can play scenarios 8 to 10, where you're actually fighting over buildings and doorways and fences and such forth. Then it goes into, remember I said that terrain chart had 2 parts to it. Well, this is now introduces the castles. And with the castles, you've got palisades, you've got lots of parts of the castle, interior of the castle, doorways in the castle, and then you've got the siege rules, siege tactics, things like scaling ladders, fires. I presume there's some burning oil in this somewhere. Filled moats, game sequence, because now you're going to have multiple scenarios over the same time period. Supply rules, initiative, who's going to attack them might be a what do they call it when they come out of a castle? Yeah, doesn't matter. But basically, the inside force can come out to do a raid. Different kind of actions that can happen, and events that can happen over the course of a siege. An event table here as well, and that's the end. That will allow you to play pretty much most of the scenarios in the scenario book. We'll look at that in a minute. But then you've got campaign rules as well, so you can actually play, as I mentioned, with those additional sheets. There's 2 maps as shown here, and we'll go into the detail on the maps in a moment. But you can play. I think there's 4 campaigns in here. It's at the back of the book. We'll get there in a moment. So I'm just going to have a sup of tea. But yes, you've got different how the campaign works, how you then convert it into a battle that you can play on the tactical maps, and in fact you've got a list of the tactical maps that it recommends for you to use. Now, all those tactical maps, I must stress, are not in this box. We've got quite a lot of tactical maps that have been built over the years. You can purchase them individually, but if you've got quite a few of the games, you've got quite a few of the maps anyway. But there are additional maps that can be bought directly from the company. And that will be my little niggle in a moment. And then you've got how to determine victory in each of the actual scenarios that you get to play from the campaign. Weather table, even a season table, how it affects movement and such forth. and then blurb about the different games. All four of those, GUISCARD 2, the Anarchy, Agassiz, and Monte I've actually got. The only one I haven't got, these new range, is Sherwood. It says upcoming on here. It's out. And yeah, that's the, whoops, not the camera. Foolish boy. So that's the rule set and the history and the scenario book. Now, I do like this. I like any game that has the detail of the history that it's representing as well. Of course, it's a synopsis. It's not an in-depth, but it gets you in the mood. And then if you really want to, then obviously you can go and purchase a book or get a book from the library that covers the period in more detail. But it gets you started, and then it has a nice little bibliography here of books that it recommends and online sources. So very well done on that. I cannot fault that at all. It's fascinating reading in its own right, and it gets you in the mood and the flavour. Then it goes through what the actual counters represent. You know, the Normans, their knights, medium cavalry, light cavalry, medium infantry, and you know what these counters are representing. You've obviously got your Saxons, and by the name, you've got your Danes too. Huscarls, the Scots are in here as well, and the Danes are down here. It then also goes through the actual maps that you get in the package, what they're representing. Okay, the Saxon villages at Moat Bailey Castle, you've got a ditch and a wood bridge, and how the maps combine. Then it's got a list of all the scenarios. Okay, and then the campaign scenario. So there are 4 campaigns in here. Okay. Then it goes through the actual scenarios. This is the scenario layout. You've got the map, the sides in each scenario, and the victory conditions in the background and such on. I think it's about 1 page per scenario. So you can see they're quite nicely laid out. Representing 1 map scenario to start with to build up. Remember, the actual rules had the program instructions, so you were starting a little bit at a time. But you get to a 2 map scenario. Again, the size, and then that one actually has it going over a page and a bit. So yeah, it's not 1 page per scenario, which would have been nice, but you know, limiting the price, I suppose. And it gets to a point where it will mention you need to purchase extra maps to actually play this 1 or 2 of these scenarios. And I found that a little annoying, you know, because that means you can't play that scenario until you get that map. Yeah, it mentions it here. Use the woodbridge and river available separately maps. So that means to play this scenario here, I've got that map and I'll have to purchase that map. Now, I say I've got quite a few of the maps from different modules, but I don't have that actual map. I have to put, you know, and they're not expensive. I mean, we're talking £7 each. They're nice maps. However, you only get them from France. I haven't seen it found anywhere in the UK. It's got them. I found a place in the UK that says available in 2023. Well, now in 2024, and it's still not available. So what I'm intending to do to get these maps is do a mass purchase to cut down on the postage. So I'm thinking of getting Sherwood and a few of these maps at the same time to spread the cost of the postage, basically. And again, I think this one says maps available using the Saxon Village, the lagoon available from GUISCARD, which I've got, and the Crusader Trail available separately. So, very nice looking scenario, lots of pieces and such forth, but I have to purchase more to actually be able to play it. But they go through again. So it's more of the latter scenarios which actually have that situation. Then you've got the campaign scenarios where it goes through what the actual starting forces is, the map to be used, victory conditions, and how many actual battles it might actually take to resolve. And there are 4 of these with different setups. Again, very nicely laid out. Can't fault that at all. So the only issue I had on that was those initial maps. And then you've got a purchase table here when you design your own battles and scenarios, which is again quite good. You're not stuck to, I mean, there's a play in this book anyway, but yeah, you aren't stuck to the scenarios as it comes. Oh, not the camera again. Right. Campaign map itself. So trust me to do it upside down. There we go. Okay, so this is effectively, as it puts here, Kent. I live in Kent. In fact, I actually live about here. So I travel through Minster and Canterbury. I mean, I work in Canterbury, so yeah, I travel to Dover quite frequently. So, and obviously London is somewhere, yeah, just off the map over here. So yeah, it's nice, good cardstock. You can hear that. It's well presented. It's neat, and you'll be fighting over the drive to. Well, we've got the Battle of Hastings down here. Okay, and then there's various. I'm not sure what you have to do in the campaigns, but I think one of them is called the Drive to London, and what the actual battles can be quite important because it was a religious centre back then. Okay, and on the other side is Yorkshire. Okay, and that one, you're fighting over I think it's York, yeah, York's down here. Stamford Bridge, battle there with the Danes coming down. And so there's a campaign based on the northern part of the 1066 situation. So, so that's the campaign map. Then the actual battle maps you get in here. Okay, so they're one-sided, but as you can see, they're quite large. Just counterfold that. Okay. So when you're buying them individually, for £7, that is a nice map. Okay, very evocative. A basic Moten and Bailey Castle. Each hex, I think, represents about 2, maybe 3 meters. So very well laid out. Now, there has been queries, why yellow? Britain's a green and pleasant land, so they say. Yeah, that's because it rains a lot. So why yellow maps? Well, that's sort of historical, really. So when the original game, Cry Havoc, came out, the maps had a yellow background, so they all fit together. They've continued that, and quite a few of the modules are in the Middle East, in modern day Israel, Jerusalem, and so on. So I suppose to keep the continuity, it's been a hot summer. Who knows? To reprint all the maps in green, very expensive. That doesn't need it. So that's the Moten Bailey map. Side. Woodbridge, a couple of trees and such forth. And depending on the scenario, this might be crossable elsewhere other than the bridge, and it might not be. And again, the nice thing about the maps, they are geomorphic, so they sit side by side, length by length, and such forth. Though obviously, ones with the river on them are a little bit more restrictive. And then there's the Saxon village. Yeah, just open it up so we can get a full view of it. So you've got there are rules obviously for doorways, windies, fireplaces, and so on. Yeah, that looks pretty nice, and again fits together with the other maps. And the final map in here, the ditch, as it's called, and yeah, you've got your slopes. So that's the ditch itself. With slopes one, and then even higher slopes here. Scope rules need a little get your head around. It's like any line of sight rules; they're all slightly different, but once you internalize them for that particular system, they do sort of make sense. So I have played I played one of the scenarios from GUISCARD on my channel. I did it on Vassal. I'll be probably playing a lot of this on Vassal. And there's the pieces. So, oh, I actually clipped them all. Oh, there we go. All right, so let's take one out. Yeah. So each piece is represented by multiple counters. So each guy on a horse is represented by four counters, each with two sides. You've got him on a, can I get it in focus? Yeah, not really. I think I need a better camera for this. Yeah, I'm trying to use my webcam from you. Yeah. Anyway, there are. Is distance better? Yeah, I need a better camera. But anyway, there are three values on him. He's got the one at the top. Can't see it at all. I can see it clearly. Is his combat value. The one below that, in the circle, is it the light? What if I bring it really close? Can I get focus on that? No. No. I do apologize. Thought the camera be up to it, but no, it can't get the focus on it. Okay, anyway, essentially each piece has three values. So we've got a combat value, or attack value, a defense value, and then a movement value. And each of these counters, a mounted guy will have him at full strength when dismounted, when he dismounts. The other count is wounded, and I think that might be a dead horse on the other side. There is dead horse. And then there's the foot of the guy. So when he dismounts at full strength, he then gets stunned, wounded, and then obviously dead himself. Whereas foot guys only have the two foot counters with them. So again, there's enough counters here. These are the Normans. There are extra counters for the sieges. You know, your siege ladders here. To fill in the moats. Gates. Open gate, closed gates. These here are the campaign counters representing the different forces. And in here, in this one, we have the Saxons, who are in green, the Scots are in yellow, and then the Danes are in brown with their respective forces in each of those. So that's it, really. That's all the bits and the bobs that are available for the game. So let's come back to me and we'll have an end of chat. So yeah, that's the game basically. So if anyone has, correct way of pronouncing this, or a link to where I can actually find the correct pronouncing, because at the present moment I'm calling it DIEX AIE. Is that correct? I'm not Latin. But so yeah, medieval skirmish. So we're not going to be able to do the whole Battle of Hastings. But you're going to be able to do small snippets of that battle, or you can, say with the campaign, you can do, the various raids and such forth that each side participates in. I mean, the Norman conquest didn't just happen after the Battle of Hastings. There was a lot of skirmishes, raids, mini sieges, and such forth that did occur before the Normans finally subjugated the stubborn Saxons. And obviously, having the Danes, you've got the northern, say the Battle of Stamford Bridge, and the northern incursions there, and then the Scots getting involved. They like to muck a ruck anyway, so in they come, and there's scenarios to cover it. And what I really like is you can build your own scenarios. Out of the box, there are quite a few scenarios you can't do that are written in the book. You have to get a few extra maps. But again, the maps are reasonably priced, so it's not too much of a heartache if you get into the system. But out of the box, there is enough material there to do, I'd say, 3/4 of the scenarios and the campaigns. Though, again, to go into real detail, the campaigns, you do need the extra maps. But at least you can start them and play with just those 4 maps. I have no idea. I mean, I'd say I do have quite a collection of maps already. And as per always, as per, us gamers, the way we like to collect things, I've got to get the extra map. So the actual system, how does it play? See, that's a good question. I mean, the basic, sorry, stopping the tea. Keep my throat dry. Keep my throat moist. As they always say, oh, that's an awful word, isn't it? Moist. The basic system that came out with Cry Havoc was basic. It was designed for those people that, well, I say it was designed to replace sort of miniatures. And a lot of the miniature systems back in the day were basic. The rules that are in this box have been a constant tweaking and evolution. That's why if you saw, there was some things that were crossed out. They didn't apply to this rule set. This is the latest iteration, apart from the Sherwood, which has actually gone back to really basic to get younger people involved, and with a very familiar theme, Robin Hood. So yeah, now I have seen a more advanced rule set. I read it. It seems to be answering all of the little queries I have with this, but as I've been saying in quite a few of my videos lately, it doesn't really matter. Get the box out, set up the pieces, and have fun. Is it a detailed simulation? No. If I want a detailed simulation, I'll go and join a reenactment society and start getting whacked over my head by a sword. That might give me a bit more appreciation of what these guys sort of went through. But do I want to do that? No, I'll get hurt. I don't want to get hurt. So, is it close enough? Will it give me a feel? What I've seen, say, with the GUISCARD, it did give me a feel of medieval, combat without me getting hurt and whacked. There are groups of people that go out there and do that on a regular basis. I've seen some videos. Great. I'm not one of those. I don't like to be hit, no matter how much padding I've got on me. So yeah, it does create a fun, fast, furious game, and that's what I'm looking for. So yeah, pick it up if you ain't got it. So I'm going to be playing a guy on Vassal. I have still yet to ask him if he minds if I keep the log files like I've been doing with Panzer Blitz. Keep the log files, and I can then recreate the scenario with just me jibber jabbering with the Vassal on the screen there. How does the Vassal module look? Well, you'll see that in probably the next episode. Anyway, guys, until next time. Thank you for watching. If you like what I do, the little like button. I keep saying you squeeze it, stroke it, whatever you need to do. I don't like the term hit the like, and sometimes it does feel like begging. I'm not begging. If you tell me that you like something, I know that's something that I'll continue making. If I don't get many likes on something, I'm going to move on to something else. So, just let me know. But until next time, play games, have fun, buy internet,